Hello and welcome to Keeping It Real with Najeh Wilkins. I'm Najeh Wilkins, your host. Got a lot to dive into today. Today we're going to be talking to Josh Jones of Elbert County, the women's basketball coach. They won it all last year. They got a game today against Luella, so I'm going to find out a little bit more about his team, how they've been performing, and then we'll get into it with the Great Atlanta Christian coach Jessica Guarneri, kind of to her about her journey and things like that. And then after that, we'll conclude with Jason Taylor of River Ridge, kind of that group, that dynamic backcourt that he has there, find out what's going on with them and how their game went a couple nights ago. So I'm super stoked and excited. Without further ado, let's go ahead and talk to Elbert County's Josh Jones. How you doing,
How you
Coach?
doing? I'm
I'm
good. How are
good.
you? Appreciate you having me on here.
Of course, Coach. Of course. So last year, you guys had a great run. You made it all the way to state championship game. You won it all against Rabun County. What do you remember from that run, Coach? And what was so special about that group? They were able to win it all.
Well, it's crazy because this group of girls, basically, I've been starting since they were freshmen. And, even the third game into the season, their freshman year, I got people around this community. Coach Jones, you're going to win a couple championships with this team. And I'm like, look, guys, there's a lot that has to go right to win a state championship. And, we learned a lot each year. I think us losing there 2 years ago to Josie in the Elite Eight was probably one of the best things that ever happened to us. It kind of gave us that hunger coming into this past season. We were ranked number one coming in the start season, and we embraced that ranking, and we used that as motivation throughout the season to prove to people that we were deserving of that. And we knew that if we did the things that we were supposed to do, that we would have a chance state championship game. And once you're there, I mean, it's who wants it most. And luckily, we ended up playing a team that was in our region. It was our fourth time facing them, so we knew each other really well, and it was just about who executed the best.
Yes, sir. And talk to me about that freshman nucleus you talked about. You just mentioned you've had them together for a long time. I heard they went 33-0 in middle school. Nucleus of Anaya Allen, Naya Moon, Jemiah Allen, Terrace Hester, Barnasia Foss. Tell me about them. How cool was it to see kind of their work and how talented they were so young kind of come to fruition?
Yeah, like I said, coming in, they came in with a lot of expectations out of middle school. And one thing that really helped them is they had been playing travel ball, all five of them together, since they were in like fifth grade. And they were in eighth grade, they were on the number one AAU team in the country at the time. So they experienced a lot. They knew how to face challenges. The biggest thing that they had to learn how when they got to high school was just that learning curve you have there. We were undersized, so we had to learn how to play bigger than what we were. But one thing that really gets kind of lost with this team is how smart this group is. We're able to do things with this group that you can't do with a normal group because they just grasp things so quick. We can throw little wrinkles into our offense because they pick up on it so well, and we're able to just change things up and give people different looks that, like I said, we haven't been able to do with teams in the past.
Yes, sir. And I read an article that last year Jemiah Allen was in the top 10% of her graduating class, and she's also holding down a part-time job while playing basketball. Was that true?
Yeah.
And is what allowed her to just have that focus and dealing with so much, just being able to stay at the top of her class and staying at the top of her shape in basketball?
I don't know how she does it. I told her, I said, Jamil, when you actually get out into the real world, I said, life's going to be so easy for you because of the stuff that you're doing now. I was like, a normal person doesn't do. She's on a college visit right now at Morehouse. She's trying to make a decision on her college. She doesn't want to play college ball, which is fine, but like I said, she's top 5% of her class. She can go anywhere she wants to go. Like I said, she has a lot of goals. Her work ethic, her leadership is just off the charts. And like I said, I don't even know how because she does ROTC. She started clubs at our school. She's just done so many things off the court that what she does on the court, and she started as a freshman, like I said, and the improvement she's made on the court, her and Bernasia Faust are the ones who really got us to where we could be at that elite level because everybody knew about our guards. Our guards are the one who did all the scoring, who got all the accolades, who got all the attention. But it's the detail work and the stuff that her and Bernasia put in that really kind of put us over the top.
Yes, sir. And I want to talk about some of your guards. One, Anaya Allen. She's made, first team All States probably multiple times. She's made it again this year. What is so good about her? What is some things you see just watching her from a coaching standpoint that she does that is just different?
She's number one, she's fun to watch. She's so much fun to be around. And even when I talk to college coaches now, the first thing I tell them, look, as good as she is, she still hasn't even scratched the surface of how good she could really be. She's so unselfish. She wants to see her teammates succeed. So even with her scoring 19 points a game, that's doing so while getting her teammates involved as well. She could easily, even another night, last week in our scrimmage game, we were talking. She said, "Coach, did you realize I had 24?" I said, "No, I did not realize you had 24 until somebody told me." She said, "Yeah." I said, "That was the quietest 24 points I've ever seen." She said, "Yeah, I thought so too." And I said, "Just imagine if you were really putting yourself in a situation where you are trying to score at times. There's times where I like, look, and I go get it and be that girl, but she just wants to be their teammate to get those involved and see them succeed as well. So that to me is what separates her. She's already on pace to be our all-time leading scorer. She'll hit 16, 1700 points by the end of the year if she stays healthy.
Wow, that's insane. What a story. And then for you, coach, you guys, Elbert County, you were in 2A, obviously with all the reclassifications, you're at single A now. Do you think the competition, do you think it would be any different for your girls this year, or you think it'll be pretty much the same?
It's going to be a lot tougher. When you get down to that single A division now, you got private schools. You got Galloway, you got St. Francis, who are deep, who are loaded, who are big. I'm hoping that, when it comes down to it, that our experience, the fact that, we've been through, made a deep run, have been in a state championship game, will come to help us out. We've played teams who are way bigger than us, like St. Francis will be. So, and we've played teams with good guards. So I'm hoping that little competition that we've already played will help us when we have to meet up with those games late in the next coming year.
Yes, sir. And, just looking at your schedule, coach, what are some tournaments you're going to be playing in this year? And tell me a little bit about the non-region schedule. What kind of went behind some of the scheduling in preparation for the season?
Well, I wanted to kind of do like I did last year. One of the things I really went into last year's schedule was I wanted when we got to the playoffs, I wanted me to be able to tell my team, look, there's no team that you'll face in the playoffs any better than the competition that we've already faced. And I felt like I succeeded in doing that last year. We played Beaufort. We played Grovetown. We played Loganville. We played our region. When you got to state runner-up in your region, playing twice. We played Decula. We played all the things that gave us the experience that we needed. And I'm trying to do this year. We play back this weekend. We play Luella, who's a 4A state runner-up. We're playing Carrollton at the Christmas tournament this year. We're playing Fannin County, who's been was in the state championship 2 years ago, lost in the Elite Eight last year. So we're trying to pick up those games in the non-region to help us for region, which Raven goes down with us. So you still have them in the region, and hopefully, like I said, all those games prepare us for a run in state playoffs.
Yes, sir. And then I saw too that you guys kind of play kind of half court and sometimes a full court press. So coming into the season, coach, do you think you'll deploy kind of that similar strategy, or will you kind of just mix some things up, throw some zone in there, 3-2, 2-3, or are you gonna kind of just play how Elbert County's kind of always played on defense?
We will play 3-2. We do mix up, but we are still a lot of times. Turn people for basket. We're going to press court. We use that we throw in just to keep people off balance because they'll be the presses that we're more known for. But we do try to keep people off balance by, we're in one press on a different press on the miss. It really the last year and you talk about and it took 2 years. I really felt comfortable playing man-to-man, and it finally got to the point where
Okay, so little technical difficulties there, but hey, I was just asking them last year. They had kind of a half court and a full court press, so I was asking them, what kind of strategy they like to deploy. But he's like he said, they like to mix it up a little bit, and let's see if we can get him back. Hey, coach.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, you kind of cut out there a little bit, but I know you were saying you guys like to mix it up a little bit. And just to kind of add on to that question, Coach, does it kind of depend on like the matchup you're playing in? Like if you're playing a Beaufort or a Carrollton or a Fannin County or Rabun County, does your defensive strategies kind of more depend on who you're playing, or just you kind of have a base you just like to employ no matter who's there?
Yeah, we can't play Rabun County the way we play other teams. I mean, she's seen us so many times, and they're a really good, smart team. So they got really good at making our press. So we had to switch things up on them some. We do something. And even in the state championship game, we're looking at something we could do today. And it wasn't nothing fancy. It's just we went full court man to man. We did them to work the ball up court all night long, and I felt like that was one that put us over the years. Wasn't able to get those wide open looks that they normally get. So it just depends on our opponent. Yes, how we'll play defensively.
Yes, sir. And then tell me about some of your reserves coming into this year and kind of some of those new players. Who were some you're excited to see? Some that impressed you kind of in camp and coming into the season.
Jamaica's here, twins, but Mama's Park, she had a great summer for us. Jamaica was gone all summer on college. She did, I can't even remember what name it was now, but so Riri stepped into her sister's starting spot, did tremendous, and I told her, I said, you put for a starting spot. So having her, another could be starter coming first person off the bench. I got a freshman who is really showing some glimpses of being able to help us out when it gets to, it's still early on, but if she continues to improve, she had some success with us this summer. Azaria Belcher. Kiki Glaze is going to be another post. A couple of juniors that you practice against our girls every day, and practice it does nothing but make you better. So Kiki and Anaya Allen's younger sister, Amiria, and Azaria Maddox are really going to come in and give us those minutes. I feel like we're actually going to be a little deeper than we were last year.
Yes, sir. And then kind of the final question, Coach, just matchup coming up with Luella, obviously tonight. What are you hoping to see from your bunch in the rest of the season? And what are you hoping to kind of accomplish with this nucleus of girls you got and some of the newcomers that you just mentioned?
I told them we're going to be this is a huge test for us right off the bat, but I said, every night, when you're state champion and you got everybody coming back, I said the target is squarely on your back. Everybody's going to want to say, hey, we beat the state champion, so we know that that's there, and it's just us. I hope to see one last year, but not a group of six that could lead, and I'm hoping to see that growth from this group to be that second leader, to continue those younger girls come along. And I talked to them a lot about leaving a legacy to the group that come behind them. So I want to see that hunger that we want to go back and try to get. I told them, I said, look, we won the first ever state high school history. I said, but somebody else could come win it again. But if you go win two in a row, I said, think how hard that would be for somebody to ever win. So that's what we want to try to do.
Yes, sir. Well, good luck this season, Coach. I'm going to try to have you on again probably mid-season just to get a little check-in, see how your program's doing, or maybe towards the end of the season. So I appreciate you taking the time. Really enjoyed talking to you and learning more about your program.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, guys. So that was Coach Josh Jones. A little sorry about the technical difficulties with the audio, but nice to learn about his program. They have a young nucleus that's played together since middle school, and you kind of see that came to fruition last year in their run to the state title, winning against Rabun County. They have a very talented group. Again, Anaya Allen, Naya Moon, Jemiah Allen, Terrace Hester, Bernasia Foss. They got a whole group of girls that can play. They can shoot the rock, and they can defend very well. So we will be back for the second segment after this short break from NFHS. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
What's up? Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you coming on the show. I'm very pleased and honored to talk to you.
Oh, absolutely. Totally honored that you thought of me and glad to be here.
Yes, ma'am. So before we talk about your program, I want to talk a little bit about you. I found out you played at UNC Asheville, so I want to know how long were you there for, and what position did you play?
Okay, I was a power forward. I played at UNC Asheville from I graduated high school in 99, from 99 to '02. So I played at Asheville for 3 seasons, then transferred over and finished my career at Wingate University, which is Division II school, where I was an All-American. So got to throw that in there.
Wow, All American. Okay, how many points per game did you average, Coach?
All
And
right, so my senior year, I had over 500 points. So I got my
wow,
1,000th point in college, my junior year in college at Asheville. So I averaged around 16, 17 points per game in college.
nice. Okay, so you were really like that, Coach.
I was all right. I was all right. Trying to stay humble in my old age.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I also found too you coached at Francis Marion University, and then you've coached in New Jersey and South Carolina. So what did some of those experiences kind of teach you, in your coaching career?
Yeah, so right after my playing career was over, I never even realized I wanted to be a coach. But when basketball was over, it really kind of hit me hard. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? It had really become like my whole life why I was doing it. So immediately out of college, I got offered a college coaching position, and I went to Florence, South Carolina, and I coached at Francis Marion, which is a Division II school, for 3 years. And I enjoyed that, but I didn't love it. So I wanted to try coaching maybe at the high school level where it was a little bit more interactive, and the kids were a little bit more receptive to learning. So that's when I'm originally from New Jersey. So I went up to New Jersey. My sister had started a program in West Windsor, Plainsboro, near Princeton. She was the head coach. She had played. My sister played at Illinois and Virginia Tech, so she was the real deal. So I went and I was her varsity assistant and I was her JV coach, and we worked together for 3 years, and it was just a phenomenal experience. I really enjoyed it. I learned so much from her. My sister played a point guard, so her knowledge of the game was just unbelievable. So she was just great to be under for a couple of years and learn. And then I got my first head coaching position in high school at a school down in South Carolina. So got me there. So what is all of that kind of taught me about the game? Number one, it's made me a better student of the game. As a player, my focus was more on what can I do in this game to make the biggest impact, right? Whereas while I've been coaching, I've just been learning how the season as a whole. It's not a game by game thing. It's how can I as a coach cultivate in these students a mindset of growth kind of throughout the year. I constantly telling my kids it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So it's really helped me to put an entire season in perspective, entire careers of my players in perspective, rather than that game by game approach where as a player it was just like, what do I got to know about this next game, this next opponent? I'm putting whole seasons into perspective now.
Yes, ma'am. And then you were in South Carolina. Then through a mutual friend, you were able to get kind of the GAC job. So tell me about that. How did that come to fruition? And what are some of the differences in coaching in South Carolina and Georgia? And what have you kind of enjoyed at being at GAC?
Yeah, so being at GAC was totally a God thing. I did not want to take this job. I really enjoyed the spot I was at in South Carolina. I was comfortable there. I felt like I had some roots set down there. So my buddy who was working here at GAC, who was a baseball coach, told me about the position. I said, good, but really not interested, right? I'm a math teacher, so it was really a math position, and I'd come as an assistant coach to Lady Grooms, who was my predecessor. I just wasn't interested in the job whatsoever. But I don't know if you've ever been to JC, man, but this place is pretty tough to deny.
It is.
Just the grandeur of this place, the way that things are done at GAC with excellence. And so when I stepped on campus, I said, oh man, I'm in trouble, because I had no intent in taking the job, but it was too good to say no to. So, those first 2 years, I was Lady Groom's assistant, and Lady is phenomenal. I truly did not wasn't even thinking about becoming the head coach here. Thought Lady was going to be kind of locked in until Gabby, her daughter, was a senior, which is this year, and thought I'd be cool just chilling as her assistant, maybe waiting, my chance in line. But something opened up for her, and that position at Landmark opened, and it worked perfectly for her family, and I kind of just got tossed into this. So pretty nervous to start. You asked about the difference between coaching where I was in South Carolina and coaching where I am here. Well, I was at two very small schools in South Carolina, and you have Giza here, which is that private independent division. So I coached at the counterpart Skiza in South Carolina. So those are for very small independent schools. So not even I didn't play one public school opponent while I was at my schools in South Carolina for 8 years. So coming here, it was a whole new ball game. Different kinds of opponents, different kinds of basketball. So it was kind of trial by fire there at the beginning. Those first, it helped tremendously to have 2 years of being an assistant coach in that kind of atmosphere. This way, when I stepped up to it that third year in my head coaching, I felt like I was comfortable with the atmosphere of playing what Georgia basketball is, and it's top tier. You don't get better at I think than Georgia basketball, especially on the girls' side. So. Yeah, super lucky to have the opportunities that I have, and at the caliber of basketball that I get to coach at.
Yep. And final question about you, Coach. Why math? I think I read something that said you did architecture, and then I'm not sure what happened. You have to tell me the story what happened with architecture, but then I think you got your BS or your bachelor's in marketing, and I think you're doing something now where you're trying to get your master's. You got to tell me the whole story because I read like bits and pieces.
You do your homework, man. You do your homework. You're good. You are good. Yeah. Let me be straight up and honest with you. School was not my thing. I went to college with the mentality of a basketball player who goes to school. So wrong mentality, guys. Anybody watching this, wrong mentality. I know that. I tell my students that school's got to come first because I floundered because I didn't know what I wanted to do. But the one class that really resonated with me and the teacher that really connected with me the most in high school was my architecture teacher. So, I'm a bright person. I just didn't like to apply myself back then. But I'm like, man, I really like architecture. I love to paint, any kind of art. So I'm like, maybe I can get into this. So what Asheville did was they didn't have an architecture major. So they developed kind of a major for me that would get me into graduate school in more of an architecture degree. So when I transferred to Wingate, I did not simply want to be an art major because they didn't have anything in that route. So I'm like, let me do marketing. It uses some of that, creativity, but also with the business degree. So my degree's in marketing. And then when I started teaching at the high school level, I'm like, coaching at the high school level, I started teaching because I wanted to coach. I was like, man, what am I going to do? So I got into PE. And then my school in South Carolina really, really needed a math teacher. And I'm like, man, I was okay at math. Architecture's got a lot of math in it. I took all the way up to calculus 2. So I'm like, I think I could do this. Started teaching math, absolutely fell in love with it. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm the honors geometry teacher here. I've been teaching honors geometry for 6 years. So my job has shifted at GAC. I was just a full-time teacher and the head girls basketball coach. I'm now the dean of students here for the middle school. So if any of these kids get in trouble, they got to come see me. That's where I am. It's kind of like a vice principal. So my role has shifted a little bit. I still teach some math, but I'm also the middle school dean of students over here as well. But like you said, completed my master's in May, 4.0. So I got my act together in the classroom. So yeah.
Nice. What was the master's in?
So I got my master's in education, math education.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
So then that explains when we were doing the test call why you couldn't come on. You were obviously now I know you're the dean of students,
yes,
so you're dealing with a situation. That's funny.
You're absolutely right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Coach. So we'll talk a little bit about your team. You lost in the state final to Lumpkin County. How tough was that loss? And then what did you think your girls kind of gained from that experience? To kind of put into this year?
Yeah, so if I can go back so going into my 4th year as a head coach. My first year as a head coach, we win the state championship. My second year as a head coach, we lose the state championship. Last year, we lose the state championship. So
Oh
I'm a
man.
2-time loser, baby. So, but if just particularly talking about last year's loss, man, to tell you I don't think about it every day, I'd be lying. I think about it once a day. I
Wow.
wear that loss tremendously. My team, Lumpkin's phenomenal. David Dowse has done an absolutely phenomenal job over there at Lumpkin, and hats off to him for what he has done there. I felt like we prepared our girls. I felt like we came out ready, and I felt like we played the best possible game we played for 28 minutes. The problem with that is the game is 32 minutes. So Lumpkin absolutely never gave up. They wanted it bad, and that we had a little bit of a lull in that 4th quarter, and they took advantage of it. And so hats off to them for that. But I can't in my years of basketball since the 2nd grade, that's the one that hurts the absolute most for me. That loss was very, very difficult. Yeah. But what
Got
did we
you.
learn from it? I think we learned a lot from it. I think we learned what we're capable of. Lumpkin was the heavy favorite. No one thought we would even be in the same, be able to compete with them by any means, and we're heading into the 4th quarter up by 8 points. So I think it allowed my kids to know and understand what they're capable of, and what, if you focus on something, if you work hard enough, that anything is within your reach. So super, super unbelievably proud of my kids for their effort in that contest, but also just their resilience and desire to continue to want excellence in everything we do.
Yes, ma'am. And tell me about who are some of the returning starters this year that you bring back from last year's state final team, and who are you kind of most excited to see kind of in action? Who are some of those players that's kind of surprised you maybe a little bit and kind of have stepped up and you're excited to kind of see?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have 3 returners from last year's state championship team. Number 1 is Trinity Thomas. She's a senior this year. Moved here from Alabama last year, so we were lucky to get her. Extremely athletic, super dynamic, best defender on my team by far. Whoever the other team's best player is, she's going to be guarding them. Jumps out of the gym. Talk about team player. That kid just wants to do whatever she can to make us successful. Constantly asking me, hey, coach, what can we do here? Student of the game, always learning. Next would be Mila Benton. She's a junior. She's been with us the last 2 years. She's started in the last 2 state championship games for us. Unbelievable athlete again. Last year, kid's about 5'8", but had to play the post for us. I didn't have one player taller than 5'8" last year, and we made it as far as we did, and did an unbelievable job post defense for us. Anything we needed, grinding down low. Big rebounder, super athletic kid, and we'll have more of an opportunity to shine offensively this year as we needed to step up. My 3rd returning starter is Sydney Lucas, who outside shooter. And really, we were excited for what she was going to be able to do for us this year. Unfortunately, in our scrimmage last Tuesday night, she tore ACL. So that's
Ah.
tremendous hit for us. Tremendous hit for us. Like I said, she's been with us. She played with us on varsity her freshman and sophomore year. So it was tough. Drove to the basket and tore ACL. So that's a big hit early for us. But she's still out there. She's helping support us and doing everything she can from the sideline. But surgery coming up in a couple weeks. So, but that was a big hit for us. But 2 newcomers for us that we're super pumped about. Elizabeth Lewick, who is a senior. She played at Arlington last year and moved over to our area. I didn't even know who she was until, kind of mid-July. So unbelievable shooter. We played Westminster on Tuesday. Kid knocked down 5 out of 7 threes. And you just absolute workhorse. Asking me, she has texted me at 5:30 in the morning asking me if she can get in the gym to get shots up.
Wow.
So tremendous asset for us, and the new tallest girl on the team, about 5'9", but outside shooter, doing a good job. And then Asia Johnson, who is a ninth grader, but sure don't play like it. She's our point guard. She is extremely athletic, extremely dynamic. Her anticipation skills on the ball and the way that she can see the court, the full court, are pretty special, especially as a freshman. So we're really excited about her. So, yep.
Yes, yes, ma'am. And then obviously you mentioned the injury to her and how big of it was to lose kind of an asset like that. But last year you graduated Kaylee Addy. She averaged 22.9 points per game. I just wanted to know where she's playing now collegiately and what kind of impact did she have on your team last year?
Dude, Kaylee Addy is at Xavier right now, and
Wow.
she just made a statement. She had 21 points in her debut, not even as a starter. 21 points in 21 minutes, pretty legit. Second game, I think, had 7 or 8 points. Third game had around, mid-teens. She was the Big East Freshman of the Week, first week out. So to say that Kaylee has started out on a high note is not an understatement. She is absolutely phenomenal. And she's one of those kids that's just going to go in, do the work, and then, the results are going to come. So when you talk about what kind of hit is that for the program, Kaylee Addy is, for me, I think she's a once in a lifetime, kind of deal, just with I can't remember how many times she would do something. I turned to my assistants and be like, "What? How?" Just so fun, so dynamic to watch. But more than that, just an incredible kid. So big loss, and on top of that, we've got JC Bolden, who also graduated last year, who was her. That was my Batman and Robin right there. So JC's also already starting. In college. She's at Biola Division II in California, so she's already starting and making an impact in that squad too. So losing those two, while it's just two players, it's tremendous. Their leadership ability. They won a state championship. They've been in the last 3 state championships with us, and they had that resilience to we're not going to lose. I knew that there were certain games I'd get a little worried, then I'd just look at them and they'd be like, "We got it, coach." I'd be like, "No problem," and they took care of business. So. Looking for my kids this year to do a lot of the same, and I think I do have those kinds of kids they're just dogs, man, and they're not going to give up. So, yep.
Yes, ma'am. And then this year, with all the reclassifications, you guys jumped from 3A to 5A, so a more heightened sense of competition. But do you think it'll be any different for your girls this year? Do you think it'll be any harder? And then second part of that question was looking at your schedule, non-region, region, any teams stick out to you, and what kind of went behind that scheduling as far as just non-region?
Yeah, just talking about moving up, reclassing to 5A. Yeah, to us, sure, we're in a different classification, but to us, basketball is basketball. We're going to do what we do every day. We're going to prepare like we've prepared every day. New opponents that we have to worry about. We were pretty comfortable in 3A and knowing who the main opponents that we really had to worry about were. So that's new this year, just having to learn these teams and who, who's going to be a little bit tougher and who we really need to focus on. But overall, it is what it is, and we're gonna compete kind of like we always have. What was the second part of your question? I apologize.
No problem. The second part was just like the non-region schedule. What kind of went behind some of the teams that you are playing on there? Any teams that stick out to you, just your schedule this year?
Boy, they all stick out. Every one of them stick out. I keep the schedule's right here on my desk, and I look at it every day, and I'm like, Jessica, what were you thinking? If you don't play the best, you can't beat the best, right?
That's so true.
We have a goal of where we want to be in March. I am 100% okay with losing in November and losing in December in order to play in March. To me, there's no sense in playing a bunch of schools, getting a lot of easy wins, and not being in the fire early. We played Westminster, Courtney Ogden, probably the best player in the state of Georgia right now. We played them on Tuesday night. I want to play the best. We've got, we play Trinity tonight. We play McEachern on Saturday. We play, who we got? Galloway on Monday. We're in the Hoops for Hunger against Victory Christian, who won the state championship in North Carolina last year. We play Marist, who won the state championship. We play Wesleyan, who's no joke. And Brookwood is our last game before Christmas. The first 10 games are punches in the mouth, right? So, yeah. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with every single one of them. My big thing with the girls is if if we're not growing from game to game, then we're not where we need to be. I always want to see growth. We just want to get better every day. And wins and losses right now don't matter. They will, but they don't right now to us.
Yes, ma'am. And, for you, Coach, I mean, first year, as you stated in the open, you won it. Second year, lost in state final. Third year, lost in state final. So what are the aspirations of this team this year? What are you hoping to accomplish with this group? And, what are you hoping they can just bring to the table every night?
Yeah, if the goal's not to get all the way to the end, I don't know what the point is, right? We're not just here to play. As much as I want it to be an enjoyable experience, number one, I want these kids to have fun. I want basketball to be a place where it's an outlet for them and it's a place where they can come and have fun. But number two, I want them to get better. I want them to grow, and I want them to use the talents that God's given them to just continue to kind of manifest them and get better every single day. The goal is always state championship. That's the goal. So no matter what we're doing, that's the goal. In and out of it, play in March. We want to play in March. Of course, anybody can be out in February. We want to play in March. That's always the goal. And just to get there, with this team, I think we've got what it takes. Chemistry-wise, we're there, but right now we're struggling with fighting through some adversity. Tuesday was the first time that we had to play, kind of anybody. Our scrimmage, wasn't too challenging for us, but we faced adversity on Tuesday and we failed. So I want to face some more adversity today. I want to face some more adversity on Saturday, and we want to get to a point where facing those challenging teams and those difficult teams, we can step up and do what we're capable of doing.
Yes, ma'am. And last question before I let you go, Coach. Just what are some tournaments your girls are going to be playing in this year? What kind of states you guys are going to be in? And what are you kind of looking forward to as far as just some of those maybe holiday tournaments, afterwards and things like that?
Yeah, so this weekend we're in the Parkview, Thanksgiving shootout, which we've been in, since I've been at GAC. I mean, Coach Cooper over there does an absolutely fantastic job of organizing that. Tons of college coaches out there, top teams in Georgia, so super pumped about that. After Thanksgiving, next Saturday, we're in the Hoops for Hunger tournament, which I think is, just fantastic. Well done. Last year was the first year. Charles has done such a great job of organizing that and getting some real talent here to Georgia. Like I said, we play the defending state champion for North Carolina in Victory Christian. So I'm super excited about that. And then we're in She Got Game Classic, which is always an awesome one. Don't quite know our matchup yet. In the past, we've also played some schools from Florida and out of state that have given us some great exposure. And then the last play day we're in is the MLK Challenge over at Holy Innocents. Coach Dixon has done a phenomenal job of putting together, an outstanding event, especially, with MLK and just being able to bring that the attention that it deserves, and also bringing in the top talent from Georgia. We play East Forsyth, who, it's only the second year of that program's existence, but Coach Hendrick has done an unbelievable job of turning that program into something that's a force in Georgia already, just in its second year.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I wanted to say thank you so much for joining my show. It was a pleasure talking to you, Coach. Definitely going to have you on again. If you have time, definitely mid-season or towards, probably like the later half of the season, and just kind of get a check-in, see how your girls are doing and how the season's been.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you so much. This has been an absolute honor. You're doing a fantastic job, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, so that was Coach for GAC, Miss Jessica. I should have asked her how to pronounce her last name, because I'm probably going to butcher it again. I definitely should have asked her that. But no, learned a lot about her and her program. 2 straight state final losses, so that's definitely tough. But they got a good group over there, despite the ACL injury to one of their good players. They got Asia Johnson. They got Trinity Thomas. So I think they got a freshman that's going to be starting at the point guard position. But, I mean, they got a good team. I mean, the jump to 3A to 5A should be interesting. Okay. And I think it'll be very interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed her. I definitely did. That was a lot of fun. And we're going to go ahead to break, and then we'll be back for the third segment. All right, guys, I am joined now by the River Ridge women's basketball coach. Very excited to talk to him. They have a very talented group, made it all the way to the state final last year, lost to Lovejoy. But this is a very good group, and they got some girls that could really play some basketball. So, Coach, how you feeling today? And what's been going on with your group?
Feeling pretty good. We play Cherokee today, so we're looking to see where we're at the beginning of the season.
Yes, sir. And then real quick on the matchup with Cherokee, what kind of stands out to you, kind of, when you're looking at them on film and kind of coming into this matchup, what are some things they do well?
They shoot the ball really well. They're one of the better, drive and kick teams that I've seen, and they make 3-point shots at a really good clip. So that's the big worry today is making sure we have a hand up in the shooter's face and not giving them those driving lanes to even get those looks. But that's the biggest concern that I have about today is their ability to make shots.
Yes, sir. And then, Coach, you guys got so close last year, 7-point loss. What do you think your girls learned kind of from that experience, some of your returning starters, that they can kind of put into this year and, go all the way this year and win it all?
Last year we started 2 freshmen in that group, so they gained a ton of experience over the course of that season. So they come back, with bringing experience and really good players. We got Najeh back running our point guard, and she's just phenomenal with the ball in their hands. So the biggest thing is they want to just make up for last season, I guess, is the best way to put it. They're hungry. They really want to compete and get after it.
Yes, sir. And tell me about your guard, Najeh Gill. Last year, she averaged 16.3 points. She was in the first team in kind of preseason state rankings. How important is she to your offense? What element does she kind of add to this team?
Her ability to get downhill is the most important thing. I'd always been a coach that would coach everything up to, me, point guard bringing the ball down slow, calling out the plays. And with Najeh, you want her to go and create. And, again, we feed off of what she does, like her ability to drive, get in the lane, kick out to shooters, or, if we do need to run a set, to read the defense, realize what we need to be in. That's probably some of the best things that she brings to the table is just that leadership and experience. Over the course of the last 2 seasons with her at point guard, we've won 55 games and lost, I think is five or 55-5 over the last 2 years with her at point guard. So she's just a leader. She knows how to win, and she's very important to our team.
Yes, sir. And then you mentioned the 2 freshmen that started last year, and that run that you had. You bring back Sophia Pearl, who averaged 14.7 points per game. What have you seen from her just coming into this season, off-season training? What kind of elements has she added to her game kind of coming into the season?
Well, last year she was pretty much just a spot-up shooter, and she played okay defense. Over the course of the summer and watching them in the fall leagues and even in our scrimmage, her defense ability, she's gotten a lot quicker. So her defense has picked up a lot, and she's doing very well with driving the ball. So she's a little more dangerous than just standing out there shooting threes. She's able to go get it off the move as well. So she's added a lot to her game, and really proud of her development in the offseason.
Yes, sir. And we know how good and talented your guards are, and Najeh Gill and Sophia Pearl. But tell me about the front court, Coach. How are they this season? Who are some players that kind of going to be starting this year for you that have been stepping up big, in camp and, practices and things like that?
Probably one of the more important pieces is Kayla Cleveland. She's a sophomore this year. She averaged, I think, it's about 8 points and 8 rebounds a game last year. And she'll play a much bigger role for us this year. She's kind of a matchup nightmare. She's about 5'10", 5'11", and you guard her with a smaller kid, then she's going to post them up. If she is guarded by bigger girls, she'll take them out on the perimeter and be able to take them off the move or shoot the 3, which she does really well. But she's going to be very, very instrumental in what we do this year. But we also bring back Allie Sweet, and this is her junior season, and going into her junior season, she's setting with 610 rebounds. So she's averaged 300 rebounds this season, and she really allows us to play free like we do. She rebound, I think statistically, is about 58% of our misses last year, first shot misses. She grabs the rebound and is either back up with the basket or kicking it back out to restart the offense. So she just allows, like Pearl to get to that corner quick and be able to shoot that three. And, Pearl shoots those at about a 40% clip. So, she's going to miss 6 of them, and Allie's typically grabbing the majority of those rebounds. And like I said, getting us restarted in an offense. And I think anytime you can get 2-to-1 shots, I think rebounding is the most important thing in basketball. Is when you control that advantage, you usually win games. So, the 2 games we lost last year were 2 games where we didn't win the rebounding advantage. So Allie brings a lot to that, again, her rebounding ability. Joy Jashambe, she's another, she's just a physical presence in the post, really strong. She's just a sophomore. If we're trying to get offense through the post, she's the one that we're going to post up and try to get her the ball. She's pretty skilled inside the paint. So it's got a great group of kids.
Yes, sir. And then I want to ask from a coaching standpoint, what do you like to kind of employ offensively? Just, what kind of offense do you like? Do you like kind of spread? Do you like to depend more on your backcourt? We know Sophia Pearl's she's really good shooting the ball for, as you mentioned, a 40% clip. Or do you like to lead kind of on your post and what Allie's doing down there, rebounding the basketball? What do you like to do offensively?
Offensively, I think we're more guard oriented than we are post. Again, our guards tend to score the ball a little bit better than our posts do, but depending on the matchups and what we can take advantage of, I tell our kids, when the ball's in your hands, your job's to score the basketball. And that doesn't always mean like you got to shoot it and put it through the hoop, but you got to get it in a position to score. And, we're not really running just a ton of sets. It's just more philosophy. We run, we spread the floor. We're usually 4 out, 1 in. And if we do run a set, it's more of a horn set. But again, we're picking and popping with Kayla more than trying to get her into the post. So that always ends up flowing back into a 4-out set as well. So our guards are going to be the ones really to score most of the points, not in, not out. Our goal as a team is to try to get 20 out of the post, whether that's one from one player or a combination of 2 or 3. But when I think we averaged somewhere around 65 points last year. So hoping to get 20 out of the post, and guards are getting the other 45, 50.
Yes, sir. And how about defensively? Do you like to run more of a half-court kind of defense, half-court press, a full-court press, a man-to-man, some zone, some 2-3, some 3-2? What do you like to employ defensively? Or is it kind of just matchup based, all depends on who you're playing?
I think it all depends on who you're playing. Typically, 9 times out of 10, we're always just man-to-man defense. And we'll extend that full court and just go full court man, which, teams inbound it and clear it out, and it's just one-on-one coming up the floor. But we will zone press a little bit. And we played zone last year, and I found it to be a little bit successful. The only time we played zone, the only part in the whole season was against Lovejoy. We played them zone in the third quarter, and it actually worked. We were able to cut into the lead, but there was no shot clock last year, so they come out and hold the ball on you in the fourth quarter, and you had to get out of the zone, and then Breonna Preston just lit us up. But so with shot clock this year, we might do a little bit more zone, just because it can be effective. But I think it all just depends on the matchup.
And talk to me about that, Coach. With the shot clock addition coming into the season, kind of enlighten me. How much time are they allowing? Is it 24? Is it 30? Is it 35? And what have you been telling kind of some of your defensive players of how to play that, and also your offense? Sometimes you might see teams get speeded up and kind of rush. What are you telling your offense with the addition of the shot clock this season?
Well, for us, it doesn't change. Again, we've not had the shot clock for the last few years, but we usually have our shot off within 7 seconds of a possession. Like, we're pushing fast, and like I said, first good shot we see, we're taking it. And so it doesn't really offensively have a big effect on us. Again, you're going to get put in situations where it will have an effect. Dead ball situation, short time left on the clock, maybe something like that. But Defensively, you got to guard your yard for 35 seconds, and that's it. And then again, the reset's at 25 seconds, like an offensive rebound or something like that. So it's 35-25.
Okay. Thank you, Coach, for allowing me. I appreciate that. I wasn't following the sport last year, so I appreciate you kind of letting me learn a little bit more about that. But last year, you guys went undefeated in the region, Coach. You were dominating. I believe it was 14-0. Just what allowed you guys to perform so well, and in your region play?
It's just the makeup of our team. We got a lot of depth. I mean, our starting five are great, but the next five kids are great too. And if they weren't at our school, they would probably be starters on anybody else's team. They're really good, and I think we can go about 12 deep this year. I don't know that we'll actually go that deep, but we could. And our 12th player is really good too. So I think that's what allowed us to. I mean, combination of size, speed, athleticism. I think that all played a part in it. Group of kids that coming off a Final Four the previous year and losing to Westlake, and then they were just hungry and wanted to try to do it again.
Yes, sir. And what are you most excited to kind of see from this group this year coming into the season? What are some things that just impressed you with this group?
Well, the thing that I'll go a little other way. The thing that didn't impress me was our shooting in our scrimmage game against Kell. We didn't shoot the ball very well. So that's one thing that I'm going to be looking forward to this season is to see those numbers, go in the right direction. Because I think we do have a really talented group of shooters, stretched all around the perimeter. So we got a couple of freshmen incoming that are just, great shooters, great defenders that be big contributors for us. Just getting after people and seeing, if we can hold opponents to 40 points a game. That's always the goal for us, is to hold the opponents to less than 40. So we're going to try our best every game to do that. And, and if we can, better be a good offensive night shooting the ball. So again, I want to see those shooting numbers really improve because the 3-point shot, it's just the way the game of basketball now. You got to be able to knock them down. So that's the hope, is we can see those numbers improve.
And my question to you, Coach, with the shooting numbers, right? I know you guys are more guard-oriented, kind of 4-man out, kind of an offense. Do you call any sets in that situation and kind of get your shooters in a rhythm, like maybe an easy play, like a backdoor cut, coming off a screen where she's wide open, one of your shooters, to kind of just get them back in that rhythm? Like, what are some things you like to employ just when your shooters are struggling?
Well, the thing I tell them is to, just take the ball to the hole. As soon as you get to that free throw line and make a few free throws, see the ball go through the rim, it usually helps mentally to, start making those other shots. So, when we were scrimmaging Kell, we were 0 for 24 until about 3 minutes to go in the game.
Wow.
From the 3-point line. And we had missed probably 4 other shots that were just a step inside the 3-point line. We were forcing way too many shots. Rebounds kicked out, just automatic, throwing it back up, and I'm not arguing, but getting onto them during timeouts. Hey, drive the ball, and then we finally started driving the ball, and we were able to get to the free throw line a little bit. But yeah, you don't have to make them all; you just can't miss them all. And I think the easiest way to start to see them fall is to take easier shots, and get in the paint and make something a little bit closer, and then work your way back out.
Yes, sir. And what tournaments are your girls playing in this year?
We're in a bunch of them, actually. You see, Saturday we'll be down in Carrollton for the Girls Not Out, and we got Carver in that one. And then Monday, Tuesday we'll be at Johns Creek in their showcase. And then we'll head over to Hoover, Alabama to play in a little tournament they got December, I think it's 16th, 17th, or 17th, 18th. It's that Friday, Saturday. Then we go down to Tampa for the Tampa Bay Invitational on the back end of Christmas. Come back and we'll play in one more showcase in She Got Game. And I think they got us scheduled against like Bob Jones out of Alabama. So pretty tough schedule.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that the non-region schedule. Um, what kind of went behind that, Coach, in the scheduling there? You trying to just prepare your girls for ultimately what you want to accomplish this year? Just trying to play those tough opponents so it kind of simulates, what you're going to face playoff time. What kind of went behind that?
That's exactly what went into it. Is when we got to Lovejoy last year, we had played a few teams, but nobody with the combination of size and speed and athleticism that Lovejoy had. I mean, their guards, great guards, and last year they had really big posts. And again, like I said, a game where we got out rebounded, and that's a game we lost. So I wanted to schedule this year and play the toughest teams we could play. I mean, we got Brookwood, and they got Diana Collins going to Ohio State, and they had a transfer post come in, so they're a pretty complete team that is going to be really difficult. We got Buford on the schedule, and they're well coached and probably one of the most well coached teams in the state. We scrimmaged against Kell. I'm thinking they're probably going to be the 5A state champion this year. I don't know that many teams in 5A will be able to keep up with them. Crystal Henderson's an absolute stud. So it's just trying to put, as much competition in front of us. Going over to Hoover, Alabama, they won Alabama state title last year. I mean, great team. That was the goal, was to challenge ourselves and be ready for any and all kind of basketball.
Yes, sir. And another kind of question about your team. How do you feel, and then correct me if I'm wrong, I think you guys have a game tonight against Cherokee, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we mentioned the shooting. Obviously, you want to see better numbers out of your girls. So just walk me through, how was that Wednesday practice for your girls? And I know you want to see improved shooting, but what are some other things you want to kind of see out of your girls tonight in this first season matchup against Cherokee?
Well, I mean, you want to see where you're at, like this, shooting wise. We took a lot of shots yesterday. I mean, we had our normal. I mean, I don't know how everybody else does their practices, but we split guards posts at the beginning of every practice, and our guards go work with one of our coaches, and post players work with the other, and they just work individual skill for 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the beginning of every practice, and then we come together. We got a full court shooting drill that we do every day, and we always try to beat our score from the day before, so we keep track of makes and misses over that 6-minute period while we're running that drill. And those are mainstays of our practices. Every practice all season long, we do those. I mean, that's how we start. And then, like I said, yesterday we incorporated a whole lot more shooting. It was a little less. Monday, Tuesday were like, they battled. Like, when you watched our top 10 players split up and just go at it, I mean, they battle each other. So yesterday was a day praying that nobody gets hurt, steps on a foot, twists an ankle before Cherokee. So, like I said, we got a lot of shots up. We extra on the shooting. We worked a lot on our press. And, again, I don't know if it's something we're going to be able to do yet. But, again, we got to get to where we're running up and down that floor and just getting after teams for 94 feet the whole game. So we worked on our press. We worked on our press breaker. Again, not just Cherokee, but we got Carver on Saturday. They're going to press the life out of us. So we got to be ready for that. So, it was getting ready for multiple things, with the practices this week. Don't know as much if Cherokee will press us. They did press on film that we watched. So maybe they do, but they always got this little hybrid zone matchup thing that they do. And, Cage is really good with that stuff. So, hopefully we got them prepared. Like I said, is running through a lot of the scouting report and making sure that, when certain players come out and guard you at a certain spot, that right there is key to know that they're getting ready to come try to trap you and different things. So hopefully we got them prepared and they'll be ready to play tonight.
Yes, sir. Two more questions, Coach, before I let you go. One, this is more centered around you. Just wanted to learn a little bit more about your journey, Coach, and kind of, where it started for you, kind of just the love for basketball. Did you play at all when you were in high school and college? And, where did your kind of coaching journey and coaching career start?
Well, I'm from Kentucky, so it's born into our blood. Basketball is the sport. And I always played basketball growing up. but I was always the little skinny guy that I wasn't the greatest ball handler, I wasn't the greatest shooter, but I was good enough to make the team. And for the most part of my high school career, I sat next to the coach on the bench and was like, "Hey, I'm ready if you need me." But honestly, I just sat there and listened to the coaches talk most of the game and watched the game. And I was more of a practice player and a role player. Track was where I was the best at. But that was my high school playing. In college, I just went to college to be a student. I graduated from Eastern Kentucky. Passed up a track opportunity at a couple schools. I was a little bit burnt out on doing that. And then when I came to Georgia in 2004, I started at Woodstock. And the girls coach, when they introduced me in the faculty meeting and said I was from Kentucky, she came up to me like 10 minutes after the meeting, and Coach Crow asked me if I'd be interested in coaching basketball, and told her I would. Later that day, Coach Dunn, he came up to me, the guys coach, asked if I would coach, and told him I'd already agreed to coach with the girls. So that's how I got into girls coaching. And then I was JV coach at Woodstock for 5 years. And when River Ridge opened up in 2009, I came over here, and I've been head girls coach since.
Wow, what a journey, Coach. That's pretty cool. So, what did you enjoy most about being, Woodstock and then being here? And then what are some things you kind of learned?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that I probably learned over the years is to surround yourself with really good assistants, and to listen and to trust your assistants. You can't do it by yourself. And the very first year that River Ridge opened, I was by myself. So I didn't have any assistants. It was just me, and we had a successful season. We played a JV schedule that year and won 17 games. But moving forward, it was, I've always had good assistants, and, I didn't always listen to them, but over the years, learning to relinquish some control over the team. Like, I don't call out of bounds plays anymore. One of my assistants is that's their focus, and, they're calling those during the game. And, just learning to trust the people you surround yourself with more has probably been the biggest thing I've learned over the years. But, I've always had great administration support here. Our first guys coach, Matt Bohan, he came in with like 26 years of experience, coached for 4 years, and then retired. But again, to have, somebody with that much knowledge to, hey, listen, I'm struggling against this 1-3-1 zone. How do I beat it? You got to ask questions. You got to go to clinics. You got to always be bettering yourself as a coach, so that, because if you're not, somebody else is, and you'll get beat.
Yes, sir. And last question, Coach. What's the ultimate goal of the team for River Ridge this year? What do you want to accomplish with this group?
Well, we look at every game at a time, and tonight's the most important game of our season. Saturday, that's going to be the next most important game. So we're just going to take them one game at a time. But ultimately, this team wants to win another region championship. They want to go and they want to win a state championship. And I know everybody wants to win it, but I think we got a legitimate shot this year. We got the right personnel, and they're hungry. And so the ultimate goal is to bring, that championship home. And hopefully that's what we do.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much, Coach Taylor, for joining the show. Blast talking to you, Coach, and learning more about your River Ridge team. Good luck tonight against Cherokee, and I'll definitely be reaching out mid-season to late season, just get a check-in on your group and, seeing how the season's going.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Sir.
Thanks for having me on.
Coach. Yes, sir. All right, guys, that was Coach Taylor for River Ridge. Pleasure talking to him. Very talented group. Sophia Pearl, Ali, I think he said Sweet, Mattia. They got some shooters there, and obviously they want to improve and get better and better. But they got a really talented group, so it was fun to talk to him. That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. This will be later on YouTube. You can go to scoreatl.com, get all the information, basketball rankings, women basketball rankings, and go Score Atlanta's YouTube page to watch the show today as well. That'll be uploaded later. And then tune in tomorrow into Craig's show, Georgia Prep Sports, GHSA Drive for State Title. We're going to be getting into so much stuff. I have a bold, you heard that, Graham, a very bold upset prediction tomorrow. Y'all going to look at me like I'm crazy, but I've already convinced Graham on the take I had earlier this week. I'm starting to convince Craig on the take I had earlier this week. They looked at me crazy when I said it, but we'll see what happens. That's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. So I'll be, I think, the first guest tomorrow, and then he'll jump into some guests. So that'll be a lot of fun. And guys, I will not be here next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. So enjoy that with your family. Get some good home cooking, some turkey, some ham, some mac and cheese, collard greens, some yams. Am I missing anything? Right. Am I missing anything, Graham, off the list? And dressing. There we go. I did miss dressing. So get a good home cooked meal, spend some time with the family, and, just give thanks for being here and on earth and being able to spend it with your family. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you then. Peace.